The high-stakes legal battle for control over Wendy Williams and her multi-million-dollar estate has reached a devastating and final turning point as a New York judge officially threw out Kevin Hunter's massive $250 million lawsuit. While fans have watched the tragic decline of the queen of media from afar, the reality behind the scenes is a complex web of alleged financial exploitation, conflicting medical diagnoses, and a desperate grab for power that has left Wendy caught in the middle of a war she says she never signed up for. Most people believe that Kevin Hunter was stepping in as a concerned ex-husband to save Wendy from a predatory guardianship, but the court records and Wendy's own scathing words reveal a far more sinister motivation that the public is just now beginning to understand. Today, we are going into the heart of the litigation to answer 3 critical questions that will change how you see this case. Why did a judge rule that Kevin has absolutely no legal right to represent Wendy? How did a perfect cognitive test score recently contradict years of dementia claims? And what is the true status of the millions Wendy earned throughout her legendary career that seem to be vanishing by the day? We have mapped the timelines, pulled the federal filings, and consulted with PR and legal experts to show you the receipts that the mainstream media is glossing over in favor of a simpler narrative. The most shocking realization in this case isn't just the staggering amounts of money at stake, but the fact that Wendy Williams herself is actively fighting against the man who claims to be her ultimate protector. According to a bombshell report from TMZ on October 9, 2025, Wendy called in live to the program to express her absolute joy that Kevin's lawsuit had been dismissed, stating plainly that she has no idea why he filed it in the first place and that she wants him nowhere near her life. The public narrative often paints Wendy as a helpless victim of a system that silenced her, but her own voice is being used to dismantle Kevin's legal standing in a way that he clearly did not anticipate. Per the New York District Court ruling handed down by Judge Margaret Garnett, Kevin Hunter was denied the right to act as Wendy's next friend because he failed to prove that the current guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, was acting against Wendy's best interests in a way that required his specific intervention as an ex-husband. This leads us to the second major revelation, which involves the total breakdown of trust between the Hunter family and the American legal system. In the original complaint filed in June 2025, Kevin Hunter alleged that Wendy was subjected to involuntary confinement and that her care team was essentially running a corrupt criminal enterprise designed to strip her of her dignity and her wealth. However, the court found these claims lacked the necessary evidentiary support to allow a divorced ex-husband to seize control of a guardianship he was never legally a part of. The payout here is clear and cold. The court sees Kevin not as a savior, but as a third party with no legal authority, effectively ending his quest for a $250 million payday on Wendy's behalf. But while Kevin was being shut out of the courtroom, a new medical bombshell was being dropped in the final months of 2025 that changed everything we thought we knew about Wendy's health and mental state. For over a year, the world was told that Wendy Williams was suffering from primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, the same devastating condition affecting actor Bruce Willis. This diagnosis served as the primary justification for keeping her under a restrictive guardianship and away from the cameras. However, according to a report from the Griot on December 9, 2025, Wendy's powerhouse attorney Joe Tacopina revealed that a top neurologist recently determined that Wendy does not actually have dementia. This directly contradicts the narrative pushed by her court-appointed care team for years and raises massive questions about who is actually telling the truth. This medical flip-flop is the most significant piece of evidence in Wendy's favor, because if she is cognitively sound, the entire foundation of the guardianship crumbles like a house of cards. Per court documents discussed by her legal team and reported by HOLA on November 11, 2025, Wendy actually scored a perfect 10 out of 10 on a recent cognitive health evaluation. Imagine the irony of a woman being held in a facility against her will for a brain disease that a leading specialist now says she simply doesn't have. This isn't just a medical error, it is a potential human rights violation of the highest order. Wendy's lawyer is now pushing for a jury trial to end the guardianship once and for all by the start of 2026. The payout for the fans who have been chanting for her freedom is the genuine hope that Wendy might finally be released, but the road to that freedom is paved with missing millions and a son who has been caught in the crossfire of his parents' bitter war. While Kevin Hunter's lawsuit was framed as a rescue mission, the financial receipts suggest a different primary motive that involves more than just Wendy's well-being. In the June 2025 filing, Kevin alleged that the guardianship was responsible for a $20 million loss per year in potential earnings for Wendy because they refused to let her work. He also claimed that her son, Kevin Hunter Jr., was denied access to his own college funds because the guardian had frozen the accounts and refused to release the money for his education. According to People magazine on June 18, 2025, Kevin's legal team argued that Wendy's multi-million-dollar NYC penthouse was sold at a massive loss and her personal items were being liquidated without her consent. This creates a terrifying picture of a celebrity's wealth being drained while they are powerless to stop it. The strategy here was to use these financial losses to justify a $250 million settlement that would likely have been managed by Kevin himself. But the court saw a massive conflict of interest. If Kevin truly wanted to help Wendy, why was he seeking such a massive sum for himself as a co-plaintiff? Per the legal analysis of the dismissal in October, the judge noted that while Kevin could potentially refile in his own name for personal damages, he can no longer use Wendy's name or her plight to advance his own financial claims. The payout here confirms that the court prioritizes the legal boundaries of a divorce over Kevin's claims of altruism. The money trail is messy, and as we look deeper into the year 2026, the conditions of Wendy's daily life are even more heartbreaking than the financial loss. In a recent and rare interview with The Breakfast Club that resurfaced in late 2025, Wendy described her life in the treatment facility as a living prison. She revealed that she's forced to take 7 different pills every day, but has no idea what they are actually for. According to her own words, she has to get keys to use an elevator and is constantly surrounded by people she describes as nursemaids who monitor her every move and report back to the Guardian. This reality is a far cry from the glamorous life of a talk show host who once ruled daytime television with an iron fist and a purple chair. Wendy's niece has also gone on record stating that the family is often denied any contact with her and that Wendy spends her days in a room with almost no sunlight. The expert lens here, provided by PR strategists familiar with celebrity crises, suggests that this isolation is a common tactic in high-profile guardianships to maintain control of the ward's narrative and prevent them from speaking to the media. By keeping Wendy away from her family and independent counsel, the status quo remains profitable for those managing her estate. Per the report from Black Enterprise in October 2025, Wendy admitted she doesn't even know how much money she has left in the bank. This is the ultimate payout of the guardianship system. A woman who built a media empire worth tens of millions of dollars now has to ask for permission just to know her own balance. As we look at the final pieces of the puzzle moving into 2026, the role of Wells Fargo remains a central point of contention that many fans have forgotten. The entire guardianship began because the bank claimed Wendy was a victim of undue influence and financial exploitation back in 2022. According to court records, the bank's petition was what initially stripped Wendy of her autonomy and handed her life over to the state. While the bank claimed they were protecting her from people like Kevin, Wendy's new legal team argues that they actually created the very environment of exploitation they claimed to be preventing. By handing control to a third-party guardian instead of her hand-picked power of attorney, her son, the court effectively silenced the people who knew her best. the narrative took another dark turn when it was revealed that Kevin Hunter Jr. was allegedly accused of spending Wendy's money without her permission, which was used as ammunition to keep the family away. However, as reported by the Wendy Archive in September 2025, the son's legal representatives claim he was only using the funds Wendy specifically set aside for his care and education. The confusion and finger-pointing have allowed the court-appointed guardians to remain in power while the family fights amongst themselves. This is the divide and conquer strategy that many legal experts say is the hallmark of a predatory conservatorship. The takeaway here is that Wendy Williams is currently caught in a battle between two forces: an ex-husband she doesn't trust and a legal system that won't let her go. Despite the dismissal of Kevin's lawsuit, the fight for her freedom is only intensifying as 2026 begins. Her attorney, Joe Tacopina, is making it clear that if the court does not release her based on the new medical evidence showing she is of sound mind, they will take the case to a jury and let the public decide her fate. Wendy's story is a cautionary tale of how quickly a life of success and independence can be dismantled by a few signatures in a secret court proceeding that the public was never supposed to see. In summary, the recent drama between Wendy Williams and Kevin Hunter isn't just a celebrity spat for the tabloids. It's a high-stakes war over the definition of mental capacity and the fundamental right to self-determination. We've seen the court reject Kevin's move for control, we've seen a neurologist debunk the dementia diagnosis that kept her locked away, and we've heard Wendy's own voice crying out for freedom from what she calls a prison. The most important insider takeaway is that the medical re-diagnosis is the smoking gun that could finally end this 4-year nightmare for the queen of media. Wendy Williams spent decades telling us the tea, and now the biggest story in the world is her own survival against a system designed to keep her quiet. To see exactly how the industry turned its back on Wendy during her darkest hour and the secret players still pulling the strings, you need to watch our Fresh Celebrity Tea playlist right now for the full, uncensored breakdown of the Hollywood Playbook.